Hey guys, so today we are going to discuss what is the difference between a Jew and a Christian. So let's get into it. So let's start out with kind of the definition of a Jew, because that's kind of where all of this stems from. So a Jew, by definition, is simply somebody who is an Israelite by race. So this is somebody who comes from the line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So Jacob gets his name changed to Israel, as we see in the Torah, and he has 12 children, and those 12 children become the 12 tribes of Israel, and those 12 tribes are what we consider Jews. We consider those people Jewish people. One of those lines is the tribe of Judah, not to be confused with Jew, Judah, and Jesus comes from this specific line of those 12 tribes. So there's people who are by birth Jewish, and then there's people who are practicing religious Jews. So we're going to take people who are just born as Jews aside for a second, because just being born a certain way or into a certain family does not make you a Christian or a person of faith or not. So that's kind of irrelevant for this talk, but specifically people who practice Judaism. So these would be people who read what we consider the Old Testament. It's called the Tanakh to them, or the Torah. It would be the first 5 books of the Tanakh. They do not believe in Jesus, at least Jesus being their Messiah. They don't believe the Messiah has yet come, at least the majority of them. So that is the huge difference between Christianity and Judaism. Judaism, Jews, they read the Old Testament. Christians read the Old and New Testament. So we take beliefs from what they have in the Old Testament because it's still in our Bible, and we read the New Testament as well. The big difference is we have Jesus constantly in the New Testament. We see a lot more talk about heaven and hell, whereas in the Old Testament there wasn't as much, at least blatant conversation about eternity. So Jews are not Christians, and Christians are not Jews. Just because we read the Old Testament does not make us Jewish. A huge portion of what makes Jews Jews, their lack of belief in Jesus. So they have the same 10 commandments that we will be judged by one day on Judgment Day. They believe in those, and they believe in the same Yahweh we believe in. Or they claim to believe in the same Yahweh. I mean, they're reading the same book to get the same information. Where we differ heavily is on who the person of Jesus Christ is, as well as this belief in a Trinity, which is what most Christians believe in, a Trinity, which means a Godhead 3 in 1. It's one God and 3 different persons, unique persons of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Jews would reject that belief. They would also reject the belief that Jesus is God. We believe that Jesus is God, and matter of fact, we actually believe that we can prove it with only the Old Testament as well. So here's the dilemma is, Jews believe in the 10 Commandments as well as 613 laws that are mentioned in the Old Testament, as well as other laws that they have put in place since. And Christians believe that we are free from living by the law, and we believe that all people will be judged on the day of judgment by these 10 Commandments, and those who have lied and stolen and committed adultery, and so on and so forth. They will stand guilty before God, and that is all of us. We've all broken at least one of the 10 Commandments, which makes us guilty other than Jesus. And this is the big thing that sets us apart, is Jews, just like the other 4 of the 5 core religions of Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, and Christianity, Jews, just like the other 4, believe that they can work their way to God by doing enough good, whereas Christianity believes that there's not enough good I can do to ever get to God. That's why Jesus Christ came, died on the cross for my sins. He took my penalty on himself so that I would not have to spend eternity apart from him because of my wicked actions. So if I will put my faith in him, that grace will save me, not anything that I did, but what he did for me.